Welcome into another edition of Mile High Hockey. Mike Evans, Will Peterson with you as usual. And Mike, Monday was a big news day for the Colorado Avalanche. Jared Bednar was in a sharing mood, but it's funny, you and I do this podcast. People always want to know about three names: Gabriel, Landeskog, Valeri, Nichushkin, and Artturi Lehkonen. We got updates on all three. I'll let you pick. You want to start with the good news or the bad news?
I think the great news is Val Nichushkin coming back, because I believe when this guy is right, he's one of the top 15 to 20 players in all the NHL.
Yeah.
And you need to help me, because I could have sworn when the latest suspension came down, there was a lot of get this guy out of here. There was a lot of we can't trust him anymore. There was a lot of can we trade him? Can we just cut him? You know, all that kind of stuff. And I had always felt at the beginning that, hey, look, he's a risk. He's a huge gamble, but it's a gamble that you really need to take, because with him, there is no doubt I believe they can win a Stanley Cup. Without him, I mean, the numbers bear it out. I don't think they can win a cup without him. So I was always of the opinion, welcome back him back with open arms. And at the time, I didn't get the sense that people were too excited about the idea of Val coming back. And now that he's coming back, it seems like everything's flipped. And now people are like, oh, yeah, Val, come on back. It's amazing what a plague of injuries can do to a hockey team, and all the guys and all the firepower you lose, so much so that all of a sudden, heck yeah, Val, all is forgotten. Come on back.
Yeah, it's amazing what a 5-7-0 start can do. 3 straight 5-2 losses where you look outgunned. And I think with Nichushkin, too, you're right. I think when people said those things, they were raw and disappointed in the moment. And it's a lot easier to say things, not just in sports, but in life, when things have gone wrong. And when I was in Ball Arena, when he got suspended before Game 4 against the Stars, people were ticked, Mike. I mean, ticked off. But guess what? As Bednar told us in September, as his season open media availability, time can heal all wounds. And you're right. That was probably the biggest update he provided yesterday, is not only was Nichushkin practicing with the team, but he gave us a date, November 15th against the Washington Capitals. I'll be at Ball Arena that night because I think that'll be a big night. Listen, I bet they start him that night. I bet he gets introduced as a starter, and I bet Ball Arena explodes, to your point.
Yeah, because you know what? As much as a lot of times we talk about, the moral parts of sports and the character and all that kind of stuff. I get it, but I think a lot of it is said for show. I think at the end of the day, it's professional sports. Your fans out there, you spend a lot of money, you spend a lot of emotion in these teams. Ultimately, you want to see your teams win. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And if this guy gives you a chance to win hockey games and ultimately compete for and win a Stanley Cup, you're going to overlook some of these blemishes that he has brought upon himself and brought upon this team.
Well, he just can't burn you again. That's what would be disappointing. Is if
but you know what, Will? I mean, he could.
But what if it happens in the playoffs again, Mike?
Well,
a third straight year. Talk about Groundhog Day.
But your eyes are wide open, right? And you went into this with the idea that this was the gamble, this was the dice you were ready to roll, and you hope it works out.
You do, but it's a long time between now and June. So we are wishing Valeri Nichushkin the best. Should see him in 10 days on the ice. Another guy we're going to see on the ice tonight, Mike, is Artturi Lehkonen. He will make his season debut. That's a big one, no doubt about it.
Is this guy the most underrated Avalanche on the roster when you think about it? I mean, when you think about it.
I would put Devon Toews in that conversation.
All right, that's fair enough. I would put these guys 1 and 1A, whoever you want to put. But you look at Artturi Lehkonen, from the moment he's got here, he just is just one of those guys. He just seems to always make the right play. He always does the right thing. He always comes through with the big play, but it is with absolutely no fanfare whatsoever. And boy, he has been missed. And so to get him back, Val back, now you can kind of start to feel like, okay, they're starting to become whole. This is the team we expected. I know they dug a little bit of a hole for themselves early on in the season, but it's nothing that they can't dig out of. And so while it's been a rocky start to the season for Avalanche fans, the beauty of the long, long hockey season, more than enough time for them to resemble the team that we all thought they'd look like.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, Lehkonen had shoulder surgery that Bednar said was pretty bad. Not the surgery itself, but when they went in there, they were like, "Oh, this thing is beat up." So he needed another month or so. But you're right; it's so much hockey left. They got 70 hockey games left. But there was a third update I want to get to yesterday, Mike, and that was Gabriel Landeskog. The word setback was not used, but if you have a brain, you can kind of read between the lines on this one. Bednar said he's not on the ice. We haven't seen him skating, but he's back in the gym and feeling better. Mike, this isn't where anyone wanted it to be with Gabe in early November.
So we're heading towards a tough decision here. We really are, because you're looking at Gabe Landeskog, and as much as you desperately want him to come back, you got to get on with the business of this hockey team. And he carries around such a huge number with that deal, Will, that it could potentially really cripple and hamstring, paralyze this team moving forward. At some point, the Avalanche are just, man, unless something changes, I hate to say it, but the way this thing is going is the Avs are just going to have to approach Gabe and say it's not going to work, and we're going to have to buy you out, and that's going to be the end of it.
It's a tough thing, but you're right. I mean, that feels like the direction we're trending, unless there's some miraculous progress or update. But yeah, I took what Bednar said yesterday as bad news for, honestly, if we ever see Gabriel Landeskog play for the Colorado Avalanche again. And I don't mean that to be dramatic. I mean that to be, we haven't seen this guy since the summer of 2022, and the calendar's about to flip to 2025. And the update we got yesterday was, well, he's not skating, but he's in the gym. I mean, come on, guys. That's not a good update.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed and really kind of getting depressed. Not depressed, but just
depressed,
maybe.
Sports
depressed. I guess maybe a better word is just the realization is dawning, I think, upon all of us that this just doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
No, it certainly doesn't. But until they tell us he's retiring or they're buying him out, we're going to keep asking, because there will be updates. We know fans want to hear those. Avs and Kraken tonight, Mike. I don't know, real quick. Can Colorado get a win against a Seattle team that doesn't look very good?
Yes, they absolutely can. But one other quick storyline that we haven't been able to talk about yet, I thought it was interesting. Jared Bednar the other day said basically what you and I have been talking about all season long, that when it comes to this goaltending situation, he understands 3 goalies isn't ideal. He understands that the goalies themselves probably don't like it either. But I love what he said when he said, at this point, too bad. We're in the business of winning hockey games. We're going to go with the guy that gives us the best opportunity. And if that means kind of riding the hot hand until that hot hand isn't hot anymore and going to another guy, that may be the way we do it for a while. And if guys aren't happy because their roles are not clearly defined, too bad.
Perfect place to leave it. We'll see who's out there tonight against the Kraken. I would expect it to be Justus Onanen, but when I told you guys last week that it would be Onanen, it was Capo Kakinen. So we will see, and Mike and I will be back on Thursday to wrap it all up and continue to look ahead. See you next time.